Hi, Don Jones is my name. I'm the CEO of Marine Queensland. Today we're talking about a number of specific issues around trailer boat transactions for marine dealers. Marine Queensland has implemented a system relating to the paperwork associated with the transactions, and this short video series will address each of the key elements relating to those videos. The first video is about when a dealer acquires a vessel from a member of the public to put onto the yard.
Hi, I'm Matt Hodson, coming to you today from Marine Queensland on behalf of the Retailing Division. For the last 18 months, Marine Queensland's been working diligently on rolling out a regulatory reform process on paperwork, which is now entitled the Industry Policy, Procedures and Standards Manuals for Marine Dealers. Today I thought we'd run through some of that paperwork with you to give you an idea and an overview of the forms that can help you, your business and also your customers. So this video is going to be about if a client brings a boat to you for them to sell to you outright. So we would look at that as an outright purchase. Well, how does your business go about completing paperwork in a way that's got some policy and procedure about it to protect both your business and also the person selling their boat? The sale agreement and receipt of sale form is an acknowledgement of the business buying the boat, motor, trailer, or a combination of the three, and also a receipt of sale for the person who's now sold the vessel. So the particulars that we're asking for on this paperwork is done deliberately in such a way that it offers efficiencies with your administration and your office. So in keeping with the regulatory reform of such as guaranteed title, the Second Hand Dealers Act, the SPURS recommendations from the Queensland Police, your own records, everything is recorded on this document. So by getting it right the first time, no need to keep running back and out to the boat, which then offers your office more efficiencies. And that's the idea of this paperwork: reform, policy and procedure, efficiencies in your business, streamline, make more money, but at the same token, most importantly, protect your business and protect the consumer. So the paperwork is broken up into sections. Well, let's run through these sections and see what they're asking for. The first section of the sale agreement form is the seller's details. So when you're buying anything that's second hand, naturally you need to have a register of who you bought it from and some identifiers. So in this we ask for names and addresses, town, suburbs and state, their driver's license number. That's the easiest form of identification and you can cite that yourself and sign off on it. We also ask there for the state the license has been issued in, their telephone numbers, contact details, email address, and also importantly, sometimes you could be buying product from a business whereby a GST implication can be an issue. So we also ask for ABN and are they registered for GST, yes or no. The second section is the boat dealer's details. Now this is a form that you could have your administration team already put your details in, so it saves a bit of handwriting and time, as we do here at John Crawford Marine. Alternatively, you can simply handwrite that in. But again, from a consumer's perspective, they would also like to know, well, who are they selling the boat to, your contact details, your ABN, and particulars about the business. So again, in conforming with the Second Hand Dealers Registrar and good practice by being a Marine Queensland member, we've got those items there well covered as well, as you can see on the paperwork. The dealer statement's an important section. This is next section 3. When someone's selling you something second hand, and under the major reform changes with the Australian consumer law, we're really putting ourselves at risk when we on-sell a second hand product. So to mitigate some of that risk, because you might not know whether that boat's had a major problem repaired, but under ACL, if it's found out by the end user that it has, and that would have swung their decision to own that boat, they could be entitled to a full refund. Well, that certainly puts us as members in a predicament that we may not like to be not comfortable about. So we're going to ask a series of questions here in this dealer statement to help protect your business, but also to, if they start squeaming in their chair, the seller, well, you know you're probably on the right track and it's probably the right thing to say no to that product. So let's run through some of those questions just to make sure that you're helping your business be protected. The agreement asks, first of all, what day the contract will expire to, so day, month and year. They also agree that there may be costs in purchasing the boat that they may be obliged to pay in the event the transaction doesn't go through. You may do pre-inspection reports, there may be pre-title certificate checks being done, or your business may have other forms of checks that you might want to do on the rig that may incur a charge. But if they find something that's wrong and you want to cancel the agreement, you may want to negotiate costs prior to getting into that situation. The indemnity is something that's important as well. So we're also asking the seller to indemnify the dealer that if they don't fully disclose all the information about the past of the boat, and for some reason down the track the end buyer has a problem, we will be indemnified on the fact that they haven't disclosed that information to us. And that's something important that you should drive home, that if they do have prior knowledge of a problem with the rig, please let us know and make a note of it. The described vessel, motor and trailer has been sold together to the dealer with all the accessories unless otherwise stated. Never take for granted that personal objects on the boat may still be there when you purchase it. The seller may wish to keep his personal gaff or personal life jackets or the like, so clarify that before getting too far down the track and ending in an issue. So again, full disclosure from both the buyer and the seller. Discuss everything about the boat, know what you're buying and price it accordingly. Section 6 here is also very important. One that I'm always concerned with on second-hand boats: have any conversions or modifications been made from the manufacturer's specifications or major repairs? So remember, a boat has a carrying capacity. If extra batteries and extra water tanks and extra loads been added to the rig, well, this could ultimately affect the carrying capacity of the boat. So clarify that, has any extra gear been added to the rig that may change those manufacturer's specifications, and also to have any major modifications or repairs been carried out: new floors, stringers, subsection, insurance damage, the like. Remember, Australian consumer law is now very, very powerful and very swayed to the consumer, really for all the right reasons. But as a retailer in second hand, you're now very, very conscious about what you're on selling, and make sure that you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's. The seller also, number 7, privacy now is something also about how we hold information. We also ask you in section 7, does the seller give consent for you to hang on to their information? You may have a promotional offer or something down the track, or keep them on a database. Well, you do need to ask for their permission to do that, and section 7 on the paperwork covers that for you. Over the page, the next part about buying something used is title. PPSR, which has now taken over from the State Regulatory Encumbrance Search Registrar, is now known as the Personal Property Securities Registrar. You may have seen Marine Queensland do a significant amount of work with this in 2012. Title, very important. You need to ask the seller, do they have any known interests, or any other firm have an interest or an encumbrance on that vessel? And they need to sign off on that to say yes or no. On page 2, we talk about title. So here we're asking the seller to declare that they are the sole owner of the vessel and they have the unfettered authority to sell the vessel. The reason we ask this is, well, are they just gone through a separation a few days ago, and is there an interest in that vessel by the other partner? Also too, is there an encumbrance on the boat or a financial interest from a bank or a finance company? Very, very important to ask this question and make sure that they sign off on the yes or the no's. You don't want to be on selling something that has an encumbrance. It is illegal. So on that there, obviously good practice with being a Marine Queensland member is if there is a payout figure, it's always pertinent that we organise the payout amount. Let's say hypothetically that the purchase price is $10,000 and the payout is $8,000. The business should be paying out the $8,000. The business or the purchaser should then be paying the seller the remaining $2,000. That way you guarantee that encumbrance will be removed because you've paid out the loan to the cent. So that section asks for those details in the event that there is an encumbrance on the vessel. Looking at the big picture in selling and buying used boats, there's a whole part of little pieces of the pie that come together. So from the purchasing perspective, to the holding of the stock, to the on-selling of the product. So what we've tried to do is encompass all of the regulations and reform and governing bodies that have, I suppose, a say in what we do, to make sure the paperwork covers that for your admin team and your sales team. So with the vessel, the motor or motors, in case there's more than one, and the trailer, we've made this information unified all the way across the paperwork. So once you've recorded it here, you've got it for your sale agreement, you've also then got it for your purchase agreement, you've also got it for your warranty records. So thinking from an invoice perspective, the company might ask for the colour of the motor, colour of the trailer, colour of the hull, visual identifiers. So we ask for that up front here. It'll also ask for registration details, your HIN and VIN numbers. So let's go out to the boat and have a look where we find the identifiers on the boat and then how we complete it into this form on a rundown. So here we are, we're going to use the Stacer 449 as our guinea pig, as the boat being consigned. So we need to fill out obviously the vessel descriptors, the motor descriptors and also the trailer descriptors. So let's start with the hull first. Well, look, it's pretty self-explanatory. First is the make and the model. Well, our make is going to be the manufacturer, which is Stacer. The model is the Estuary Master 449. The primary colour, pretty straightforward, it's going to be white. The HIN and serial number. Okay, so older boats will have a serial number, newer boats will have a HIN number, and a HIN number is a 14-digit character. Let's show you where we can find the HIN number on this particular boat. All boats made post-September 2006 have an Australian builder's plate, which is generally put around the helm area. And some manufacturers will also put more serial numbers stamped into the hull and also around the transom area. So on the Stacer product, the HIN number we can easily find, and I always recommend checking it twice. Here on the left-hand side of the boat, up under the gunnel, is the 14-digit HIN number, AU, TRX, etc, etc. So let's record that down. And then we also want to just verify that is the same number that is recorded on the Australian builder's plate. And on this boat, it's a sticker over there on the port side near the passenger seat. Never take the HIN number, or any of these particulars to be honest, off the registration papers. It doesn't take much for the people at Department of Transport to have a bad day and a 1 becomes an I, a B becomes an 8, an O becomes a 0. And when you do your PPSR work, you must be numerically and alphabetically specific to do your search. So very important that your team takes the identifiers actually off the rig and not off the registration paperwork. Well, let's record those documents down. Okay, the next identifier we need to do is the motor. So this particular boat's powered by a Yamaha and it's a 40 horsepower. So we record that on our paperwork. Primary colour, silvery grey, or we would just say dark grey. We also need to find out its fuel type. It's very important when you're on selling a consignment boat to ask about the fuel type and also the oil used. So this boat motor here is running on 95 ULP and they use the TCW3 oil. But Optimaxes and E-Techs are 4 strokes. You need to know what fuel's been running through that, or stabilisers, but also what oil is being mixed. All good information to pass on to reduce the problems of a warranty claim with wrong oil or wrong fuel being used. Serial number, and is it an inboard or an outboard? So this particular motor here, we can find our model and we can find our serial number down on the side here. So we've got the model being a 40 XWT and the serial number being 1065766, and then the H will give us the prefix for the model or the year made. So that'll run us through the engine. If you don't see identifiers, come on guys, ask the reasons why, and if there's no identifiers, don't deal with it, it could be stolen product. This boat only has the 1 motor, so we don't have to record 2, and the last thing to do is obviously record the trailer. Well, this particular boat's on a Stacer trailer. The model and the identifiers, known as the VIN number, we can then get off the VIN plate. Registration, we can get the expiry date here, and we can also get the registration number. Please take the time to verify the registration number here to the net registration number plate on the back. Make sure they haven't swapped plates around, and also confirm the VIN number that's recorded on your Queensland Rego label marries to the information scribed on the VIN plate. So let's have a look at the VIN plate. On the VIN plate, this information certainly gives us the answers to our questions on our consignment form. It asks us for the VIN number, which is a 17-digit number. Make sure you count and get 17. It also tells us the date of manufacture, which is asked for on the consignment form, and it also gives us the model of the trailer, which is required as well. So with the SPURS Act, Second-Hand Dealers Act, the invoice when you go to sell the boat, all these little things can be asked amongst those requests, and we're trying to get all that information at once on this form to save you having to go back in and out of the office and offer you some efficiencies. So now that we've got the particulars and the details of the boat, motor and trailer package, the next question that we then ask the seller is where was it purchased from? It's very important. The Second-Hand Dealers Act does ask us to be able to verify who we've purchased it from, and basically we also want to know who they purchased it from. Again, it just in that whole process of protection, in the event that there was ever an issue, you've got more information, and that's power. So purchase from, ask the seller where they purchased from, was it private sale, approximately when, or another dealer, and make them note that and sign there. The seller declaration is just certifying the dollar amount that you're paying them for their boat, and again asking for their autograph. And the rest of the form's pretty straightforward. Bank account details and method of payment, we've all done that before, but again, nice and precise on the paperwork and keeping it nice and professional, which is in line with what the Marine Queensland is all about. Down the bottom left hand corner you will note there's a little area that we've designated for PPSR certificates. It's very, very important that you have an understanding of PPSR, how it works, and the protection that it offers you. So when buying the boat, very important, still do your due diligence and make sure your office does the PPSR certificates. So there you can do the date and you can acknowledge the certificate numbers in the relevant fields. To the right of that box, we've also got the office use. Look, if you run a big office as we do and things get busy, very important to make notes of when you're paying the seller out, how you're paying them, and then receipting it. Look, I hope that overview of the sale agreement shows how easy it can be to purchase a boat, but also too, the Marine Queensland has worked very hard to make sure that we've brought you a form that helps to protect you, gives you efficiencies, which ultimately should help your business run smoother. Thanks very much.
Well, this is just one of the many resources that Marine Queensland is providing to the various sectors of the industry, in this case the marine dealers and the trailer boat dealers. If you want more information on the specifics of how this program operates for your dealership, jump onto our YouTube channel, On the Water TV Australia, or onto the Marine Queensland website, or even just give me a call. Thanks for watching.